Amaka had never been in love at first sight until she met Daniel. He was charming, kind, and seemed to understand her in a way no one else ever had. Their relationship progressed quickly, and within a year, they were married. Although Amaka had never met Daniel's family, and she always asked to meet his family, but Daniel would always tell her, "They don't matter, you are my family now." They built a home filled with laughter and warmth. Daniel was the perfect husband, always supportive, always present. But there was one thing he never talked about: his family. Amaka had tried several times to meet his family, but Daniel will always find a reason to avoid it. "They live far away," he would say, or "They are not too important, my love. You are my family now." When their son Jidenna was born, Amaka thought things would change. But even after becoming a father, Daniel still refused to take her to his family. When Jidenna was 2 years old, Amaka got frustrated about the whole situation. She approached Daniel. She told him their son was 2 years old and he had to meet his grandparents to know where he comes from. "At least take us to your village. Let us know where you come from." After weeks of persuasion, Daniel finally agreed. He could no longer take the pressure from Amaka. He said they were going to go to his village at the weekend. The journey to the village was long but peaceful. Amaka was so excited. Finally, she would get to meet the family of the man she loved, and her son would get to meet his grandparents. When they arrived at the village, Daniel stopped the car before reaching the house. He pointed out the house to Amaka. "Go ahead and meet them first," he said. "I need to say hi to an old friend of mine before coming to the house. Just knock and tell them you are my wife. They will let you in." Amaka was so excited. She didn't want anything to ruin the day for her, so she did not argue with Daniel. She got down and walked towards the house he pointed with their son Jidenna. Daniel's parents opened the door and welcomed them, but they seemed puzzled. They smiled politely but kept glancing at each other as if they were unsure who she was. They were so nice they let her into the house with her luggage. Daniel's father thought to himself, even if she was at the wrong place, at least let her settle down and we will point her to the right direction. After some time in the house, Daniel's father asked who she was. Amaka introduced herself. "I am your daughter-in-law. I am married to Daniel." The room fell into a heavy silence. Daniel's mother was so shocked. She was confused if this was a prank or someone just wanted to wake up an old wound she was trying to forget. But with a calm voice, she said, "My dear, our son has been dead for 5 years. Which Daniel are you talking about?" Amaka stood up, shaking her head in disbelief. "That's impossible. We have been married for 3 years now. This is his son, Jidenna. He's 2 years old. Daniel is outside. He just dropped us and said he wanted to greet a friend." They told her Daniel, their son, was late and had been dead for 5 years. It was not possible for him to have a child that is 3 years old. Amaka looked around the room, thinking if she was at the wrong place. But then she saw a picture of Daniel on the wall and she pointed at it and shouted, "That's my husband." She insisted. But the family's eyes were filled with sorrow. That person on that picture is dead for 5 years. Amaka was in shock. She didn't know what to say. They took her outside to a gravesite and they pointed at a tombstone that had Daniel's name written on it. See where he was buried. He has been dead for 5 years. Amaka started to tremble. She said to herself, this is not possible. Amaka left the burial site and started running through the village streets, calling Daniel's name in panic. She screamed for Daniel, running around the streets. Daniel's family were able to get a hold of Amaka and they took her back to the house and they calmed her down. They suggested they all went to Lagos to investigate if what she was saying was actually true. Amaka said, yes, I've been married to him. I don't know what is going on. They all agreed and they left for Lagos the next day. When they got to Lagos, Amaka invited some of the neighbors to confirm her story and she showed pictures of her and Daniel to the parents. They all saw the pictures and they were amazed. It was actually true. That was their son, no doubt. But it was so unbelievable. Her neighbors and friends all confirmed that Amaka and Daniel had been married. But Daniel was nowhere to be found. They consulted a spiritualist and he listened to their story. He looked at them and said, Daniel was not at peace. He died before he could fulfill his destiny. His spirit returned to complete what he missed in his life, a family. Amaka was so emotional. Her love had been real. Their life together had been real. But Daniel was never meant to stay. The family had no choice but to accept the reality of things. Their son's ghost had come back to start a family. Daniel's mother carried Jidenna. She decided to accept Amaka and Jidenna as her own family. He was still their son, even in death. Amaka vowed to raise their son with love, ensuring that Daniel's legacy would forever live on. Amaka took her son Jidenna back to the father's grave and she whispered, "Thank you for loving me, even beyond this world." This is the story of Amaka, the girl who was married to a ghost. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification icon so you get notified whenever there's a new video. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Till next time, it's story time with Toby.